Well, we used to say that are not the carry last. Today, now Edo not the carry last. Edo are not ready to be last in this. In fact, Edo is carrying first in Nigeria today. Every eye is on Ondo State and Edo State, and we seem to be doing well. It's the 2024 gubernatorial elections. Ooh, a lot is coming in already. I can tell you, got some few results, got me excited, meaning this is peaceful, but some disturbing images as well. We have things like the INEC has gracefully extended the result, extended the voting. Obviously, some people they don't want to disenfranchise anybody. O'Shea told us how that normally worked before. Thank you very much for that. So we understand that INEC has extended voting in some areas, which is understandable, and I think we have accepted that. And look, I see the pocket of people carrying arms, and like we know, buying of votes is something you can't stop. Where do we go from here? But right here with me in the situation room, the results are coming in. The election so far for me has been peaceful, and the result coming in is favoring. It's about the two candidates, the two parties really. I don't know whether Labour is still in the race, but it seems as if it's still in the race. But let me quickly bring my guests in. These people are capable. I want to start with O'Shea. O'Shea, Dr. Charles, and everybody, we are all here. Look at the room. We are in the situation room. It's a big room. There is Dr. Charles Omorodio, a senior lecturer at the University of here in London. Doctor, you're welcome to the situation room.
Oh, thank you for having me.
All right. And up there is Papa Barrister Daniel Osayande. Barrister has been my guest, and Barrister, we're happy to have you this evening again, sir. Are you there, Barrister? All right, okay. Barrister is here. You guys can see him. Spiritually, he's already here. Just need to hear his voice. All right, and then of course the almighty Michael. In fact, if it's those days, if I have a child now, name him Michael. You know why? Because I like Michael. We have Michael Jackson and we have Michael Uche. They made my life beautiful today. Michael has really helped to put this whole thing in perspective. Michael, you're welcome back. Thank you very much for spending time with us again. All right. Yes, I want to unmute Michael because it's my fault. It's good to hear his voice. It's a very important voice to hear this evening, especially at this time. All right. Michael.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Michael. So, in brief, tell us, what do you think has been happening? What has happened, and what should we be expecting?
Generally, from what has happened on ground here, the election generally has been peaceful. We must commend the voters in Edo for conducting themselves very peacefully and for coming out to vote despite the tension, the fears about violence. In fact, they defied the rain, the heavy downpour earlier in the day to come out and really cast their vote. It's really encouraging to see people, want to really participate in a process that will decide who governs the state in the next 4 years. Except maybe for, I think, Ward 6, Unit 46 in Ikoba, I really can't pronounce that, where there was a little yes, Ikoba, where there was a little incident of ballot snatching. I think it was almost when collation was already happening before that incident happened. It's sad that in 2024, our politicians will still be thinking of snatching ballot box. I don't know how that helps them, but it's a very sad event that in this era, one can still be thinking of engaging in such a very unfortunate act. So, apart from that, I think the election has been peaceful. Vote buying and selling again has been very rampant.
I can't wait to see. How much are they buying? How much are we selling? That is
yeah. So it's across board. It's across the board. All the political parties have been involved in it, and are very unfortunate. But it's becoming a norm in our election now, and this shouldn't really be encouraged. So I don't want to use the word that it's our reality now, but it's becoming a norm, and it's very, very, very unfortunate. It shows that, very sadly, that politicians still look, try to use violence and coercion and, vote buying to, influence election. This is very sad. We should be selling ideas. We should be selling our ideas to the electorate and hoping that, they see what we, as politicians, what you have to offer, and how you hope to change their lives. So, but by and large, I commend the Edo people. They've shown themselves really committed. We also have to commend the police and security personnel too, for maintaining peace. There was a lot of apprehension before the election, but generally, again, all stakeholders, police and other security agencies, and the Edo people. I keep commending the Edo people, for conducting themselves really peacefully. So, as at the last time we checked the IREV, which was like around past 5, about 70% of the results have been uploaded on the IREV, which is the INEC result viewing portal. And we've also checked to be sure that those are real results that were being uploaded and not, just photographs like we experienced in the 2023 election. So those are real results. So if all goes well, I'm sure those who are winning and who are losing at this point should already know.
They should know.
Yes, yes, they should know. And in the worst case scenario, by 9 p.m., I think we should know. We should be able to know who has taken the day. Yeah.
Nice stuff. In fact, we'll be coming to the results shortly. Well, like the police is saying that vote buying is almost impossible to curb at this point in time still in Nigerian politics. What a shame. Doctor, I'm happy you're here with us. Vote buying at this difficult time. The police is already crying, and we need responsible politicians to put this to an end.
Yeah, I think I want to join. Is it Michael you said? Was it Michael that spoke last?
Michael, yes. Michael.
Yeah, I want to join Michael as well to commend the Edo people for showing a high degree of civilization and high degree of the way they've conducted themselves in this election. I think this has become something that other state needs to emulate. I also want to commend the law enforcement agency, the police, and other people who have helped so far to make this election very peaceful. Before the election, there were a lot of apprehension and concern, especially when some parties refused to sign the peace accord. We were expecting a lot of problems, but so far so good. Our people have dignified themselves. They've conducted themselves very well. Election has been very peaceful. There were a few incidents which you have just identified from Ipoba, Oha, and those people were rightly apprehended with guns. And there are a few incidents here and there, pocket of incident here and there, but it is nothing major.
All right.
It's nothing. I think we are heading towards a more civilized way of choosing those that will lead us or will lead the affairs of our state. So this is highly commendable. We are gradually moving from a nascent democracy to a near mature democracy, and we hope that our people across the length and breadth of Nigeria emulate Edo outing so that they can also use it. Yes, the results are trickling in so far. It's become a two-horse race between the incumbent PDP and the APC, who is trying to unseat the incumbent government candidate. I would say from the way I've seen the results so far, it's very close, extremely close. It's a tight race. It wasn't what some people were expecting. So Edo people have chosen the two candidates. Edo people have had the opportunity to hear from them, listen to them, follow them as they traverse the length and breadth of Edo State, campaigning and selling their mandate and themselves to the electorate. So this is now resulting in what we are seeing today.
Doctor, but this today we can see that they didn't only sell the ideas; they sold their money at this difficult stage.
Well, unfortunately,
They're selling
unfortunately,
money.
across the world,
Yes, but
it's not just.
this is something that that is disturbing, doctor. It's disturbing because when you imagine the age, look at some old people that came out today en masse to vote, and it would be too bad or too sad for some of them to have taken this sacrifice to come out and make this vote only for it to be bastardized by some 5,000, 10,000 naira. It's really
So
sad.
I think this is the reality of our election. We're still growing and developing. People still see election as a do or die affairs, unfortunately. But again, we've just been practicing democracy now for how many years? We're still very much babies taking baby or infant steps compared to mature democracy like United States, United Kingdom, who have had the opportunity to practice their democracy for over many years, over
Yeah,
100, 200 years, so to speak. So they've had the opportunity to perfect
yeah,
their systems. We've done well compared to yesteryears, compared to previous election. I think it is incumbent on people like yourselves who runs the television outfit and ourselves to continue to engage the electorate and educate them that somebody giving you £5,000, 5,000 naira. I wish it was £5,000, but
it would have
anyway.
been nice, that this would be worth it for this mama. It would have been worth it for this mother here. If you give her 5,000 pounds, she'll be smiling than the 5,000 naira.
5,000 naira to
Yeah.
mortgage the future of your own generation, of yourself and your children is just not worth it. And hopefully, with time, our people will be more socialized into accepting the fact that election is an opportunity for them to exercise their franchise
All right.
and to
Let's get.
actually entrench their principles of democracy, of power to the people, by the people, and for the people.
I agree,
And they
doctor.
only have 4 years
Yes.
to effect this change, and so
Yes.
they shouldn't take it very lightly.
I
So it
agree.
comes down to sensitization, electoral education, and other things that we have to do to entrench democracy and foster it in our society.
Yeah, I agree, but it's very important that we all need to do our own part, and I'm sure Barrister will agree with us. Barrister, even the police have come out and say,
Yes,
hey,
please.
the level of vote buying is the turnout has been great, I'm sure, but the level of vote buying is one thing we're taking away from here. How you're on grounds, Barrister? What is it? Are you happy with the results so far? And if you're happy with the result,
Thank you.
buying is one of them.
Thank
Yes.
you very much. Yeah, I have not even known any result to enable me express my opinion as to whether I'm happy about it or not. But what I want to comment on is the observation which everybody has taken note of, and that is vote buying in the polling booths. That is where voting centers. Vote buying is a very rampant issue now in our society, and it is a very disturbing development. I went to vote myself,
Okay.
and when I got there, a lot of people were trying to rush me to come to see them, to meet them. And when I found out, what do I see you for? I noticed they were ready to give me money. How much are you going to give to me?
I don't know.
Some said they will offer me 3,000. Some said they will offer me 5,000. Some said they will offer me 10,000. I looked up and down. Am I the type of person that can be bought over with 10,000, with 5,000, with 3,000? The answer is no. So again, I raised up my head and looked around. I saw law enforcement agents around,
and nobody is checking them. I see this one as a very serious aberration,
Yes.
a very disturbing development. As long as nobody disturbs these people from doing this, what they call vote buying or influencing voting, I became sad.
It is.
Then, meanwhile, we are told that there should be no campaign even on the voting day.
Yes.
What does that one mean? If there's no campaign on the voting day, there is vote buying around the polling booths. What are we expecting? So we to call this one free and fair election. So there is need to do something more than we have done so far. While I commend them, particularly the law enforcement agents, for what they have done so far to ensure peaceful election, to ensure that law and order are not giving room for a breakdown. You see, I am still disturbed very much because of this idea of trying to carry people to corners. Because you call a market woman to say, come and take 10,000. The market woman will easily be, she will go in for 10,000. Meanwhile, it doesn't mean anything before me. But it means a lot before the market woman.
I agree.
Who is looking for her family or her business or whatever. So this one is very disturbing. Either by the National Assembly or law enforcement agents. I think the earlier it is done, the better. But for now, it's very, very.
Well, barrister, you are legal.
To free and fair election.
Yeah, barrister, you are a legal man, and you know that vote buying is against the law in Nigeria. And you also know that people.
This is the Nigeria.
I know. I'm coming. I'm coming. Yeah, but you also know it's illegal and it's against the law. But I think it's a cultural thing.
Sooner or later,
is it our culture, doctor? Are you saying it's our culture?
It's a cultural thing in the sense that when people start to do certain things over time across the country, it becomes part of their way of life. Not that it's acceptable. It's not acceptable. It's something that we should condemn. It's something that we should campaign against. I would join with you, SRTV, after this election to look at how we can involve international community to help us with educational sensitization so that before the election, not just when the election is on, we start to educate people the significance of their voting, the significance of ensuring free and fair election, the significance of their franchise, the fact that people fought in certain countries to be able to be allowed to vote. At some point in United Kingdom, in United States, women could not even vote. They fought tooth and nail so that they can vote, they can enfranchise themselves. Here we are in our own democracy, we're taking it for granted. But this is not immune from the high level of poverty in the country. To the extent, I think the barrister was saying that he alluded to market women. I'm not even thinking it's just market women. It cut across the strata of society, particularly those people who perhaps are thinking about feeding themselves now and now. They're not thinking about tomorrow. They just want to get a meal. And as a result, 3,000 will be able to afford their one meal. But if we can start to sensitize our people to understand that if somebody feeding you for just one meal and you're giving that person the opportunity to become your leader, the chances are election is an investment. Whoever bought vote will try to recoup the money they've spent. And these all are linked to the idea of corruption, both in low places and high places. It should be condemned, but I think above all, we need consistent electoral education for people to know how important it is what they are doing.
All right, Michael, you are on ground, and I'm sure, yeah, the journalists, the media, these guys have a lot of role to play here in terms of I would love to see whether the INEC is even doing their own bit. The police can only discourage it either by sanction or encouragement. Uh, but people having aware, being understanding this kind of voters education, where do we go from here, Michael? What do you think?
Yeah, like the doctor said, the problem when a challenge becomes a norm, it takes time, to be able to reverse that. When you allow it for a long time, it now takes time for you to be able to reverse it. We've had experience personally where in 2019 we had gone to cover an election, and the voters came out and refused to vote because they said they heard that one of the party agents in another of the polling units was sharing money, and that they are waiting for their own
For their
agent
own,
to come, for their own unit
of course.
to give them their share. So
Uh-huh.
it's because so they're also expecting. So it's becoming. It will take a while to be able to educate people, to tell them that like you said, this election is not an investment. But again, the other part of education that we need is to be able to educate our people to hold those that is elected accountable. Because if some of what these people require as per public goods, public services are provided, there won't be need for them to sell their votes. It's a problem when people can't access healthcare, they can't access quality education, as little as potable water, as simple as that. So the politicians find a way to deprive the citizens of this and weaponizing their poverty. So you are left with people who have no choice than to start selling their votes. The barrister said he looked at himself and said, how can he sell his vote for 10,000? It's at his level. There are those who will sell even for less than that, and are willing to sell even for less than that because it's about just putting food on the table at that moment for them. So, but we need, again, the media has a critical role to play. INEC has a critical role to play. The National Orientation Agency has a critical role to play. But again, this requires a lot of deliberate sensitization, and it requires a lot of investment as regards how much is government willing to put into public education to be able to make our people understand that at the point of election you are the boss. You decide who to hire and who to fire. It's your right at that moment, so you must use it correctly. Because if you miss that opportunity, you have to wait for another 4 years, to get another chance. So the media, we have a critical role to play, but we have to be very intentional about it to either look at the negative side. When I speak with some of my colleagues, I said two things maybe the media in Nigeria needs to be looking at: it issue of solution journalism. We talk a lot about the challenge, we investigate, we expose corruption, but we're not offering solutions. We are not saying it is working in the US. This strategy has worked in the UK. This strategy has worked in Rwanda. It has worked in Kenya. How do we make those strategies work in Nigeria? We can't continue lamenting. All we've been doing is lamentation. We can't continue in that trajectory. The media must come up with solutions and offer our platforms to people who have solutions, and not necessarily people who just come to join in the lamentation. So I think that's how we can go about it.
Thank you very much.
I think I agree with Michael, and I also think that the rigging of election is not just on the election day.
Yes.
The fact that people are allowed, the candidates or their supporters are allowed to go and start sharing bag of rice, bag of potato, whatever it is they are sharing, leading to the election. It's also another way of corrupt practice. In the UK where we are, when election is taking place, you don't even know election is taking place. The politicians go on radio, they go on televisions, they go on, they send you their manifesto, they send their tracts to you, and the whole thing is so peaceful. Nobody comes to you or will give you five gallon of groundnut oil, or maybe a bag of rice, a bag of beans. These are all part of corrupt practice. These are all part of a way of buying votes leading to the election. So what we see manifest on the election day is not just the full picture of what we consider to be unacceptable electoral conduct. But like I said, the most difficult aspect of life to change is our behavior. But behavioral change comes through effective education, effective sensitization. I'm happy that Michael mentioned the national orientation. I think they're doing the best they can, but they should not just restrict their campaign to a few days before the election. It should be an ongoing process so that it becomes internalized. People now know that this is what is expected. I know there will still be an exception to the norms. Some people will still feel like you rightly identify that, oh, if this person did not bring bag of rice, did not bring bag of salt, bag of yam, or a tuber of yam, or whatever it is, I'm not going to vote. And that also linked to what I've seen so far in the result that has come out. Compared to the number of registered voters, the number of people that actually voted is quite small, which means the turnout is also very, very, unfortunately, lower than what one was expecting. I think we need to work hard to ensure that our people know the importance of voting. And perhaps that starts to beg a question. Are all these people that actually register, are they real? Or are they ghost voters? So they're all sort of
Yeah.
Doctor,
inference.
but at this point,
Yes, doctor. I would say that it's also a challenge here too, because I think from INEC data, we had about 1.6 million voters who registered, and we had about 1.2 million voters who collected their PVCs. But in previous elections, in maybe in Edo, also, especially since the introduction of zip pad at first, and recently beavers. We've seen a reduction in the numbers because people can manipulate figures. In 2020, I think the election was about 500,000 voters. The PDP candidates, who happens to be the incumbent Obaseki, scored about 307,000 votes, and the APC candidate at the time scored about 227,000 votes out of the maybe 1.9 million registered voters. So I think the beavers has really worked in Nigeria. People really do not appreciate that much what the beavers has done. It has been able to reduce the number of ghost voters. The cases of incident form where people just manipulate figures and just put on the result sheet and all of that. I think all of that it's a thing of the past now. So that's why what we are seeing in a way, it's like the real numbers, really, in a way. I see it in that way, that these are the real numbers of voters, not the figures. So INEC in itself needs to clean up the voters register, to clean up the voters register and continue to work on that voters register, and not just throw around numbers around there, because it's a problem. Nigeria has a problem of numbers. We throw around numbers a lot, and without really getting the actual data.
That kind of numbers can give room for manipulation later. Anyway, I think we're getting somewhere though, that if there is, because I don't think Nigerians are that difficult to educate or to educate. Let's use the right word. If you tell Nigerians that, oh, this thing you are doing, this is the result. Make it clear and let it come from the government. And sometimes use sanctions and motivations. And I think it's very important. I remember there's a local government chairman in my place. During the guy time in office, nobody was driving one way. You know what he did? He only used one person as an example. He personally stopped somebody driving one way, made sure he was prosecuted, taken to the court, and the guy went to jail. From that day, they not tell you, you drive, you understand? And that little thing shows a very good example. And I like young man just said here, who are the government and who are the people patrioting this vote buying? They are really the guys. They are the ones that have the money. The people buying the votes are these two people we know now. Let's call them by names. It's the APC and the PDP and maybe the Labour. They are the people buying these votes. We are talking and they pretend not to know about it. And so maybe they are the people who want to call to order first and say, hey, we know you bought this vote. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we need to call names. We don't want to no sweet talking, doctor.
Well, I think it's like I said earlier on, and the same thing that was echoed by the barrister.
Yes.
Is a norm. It's a society norm. And when people normalize bad practice, people see it as so Nigeria way. But I think what we then need to do, those of us who have seen democracy function effectively in other parts of the world, is to start the process of saying, look, there is another way. There are better ways to get these things done. We want the best person for the job. Or even at that, we want somebody that the people want to be voted for, not somebody that can manipulate the process. The whole process of buying vote and all that even goes through up to the point of the primaries. You find the primaries for some of these governorship candidates. It is difficult for a poor man to buy the ticket. I mean, to buy the applications form.
Yeah.
They can't buy it. They can't afford it.
I think that's where the problem is first, because
they can't afford
that's
it.
Where that's where the money really exchange hands, because they have the number of delegates. They can cage them, buy them properly. That's where this whole thing starts. What they're giving to the ordinary man is nothing really. That's where the money is being made.
Yeah.
They buy the delegates and get it. I can tell you now, even the Labour had that issue. There's a guy that came from Labour. The guy was lamenting.
It's across the board. It's not just it's a political norm. It's a norm for society. It's a societal norm. It's nothing to do with PDP or APC or it's across the board. Everybody believes that
with all of them. No, doctor.
It has everything to. I mean, it's not exception. It's not exception to one of them. It's peculiar to all of them.
Yes. All right, barrister, you are on ground today, and I'm happy. One thing is clear. I have APC, I have PDP here. Whatever the result today, I hope we will accept it, because your party will refuse to sign the peace accord. Are you guys going to accept the result if you lost today, or we're going to have excuses? Because of course there's always going to be reasons why. Are you satisfied? You said you've not seen the result anyway, but this will be quite peaceful. What would you say?
Thank you very much. Yes, we are expecting the result. Until the result comes, one will not be able to say one is satisfied or not satisfied. That is one side.
The problem is the satisfaction should come from the conduct, not from the result.
Yeah, I was just going to say that it's from the process.
The result will determine whether one is satisfied or not satisfied.
Yeah,
we cannot predict what the result will be.
Let me use the word to accept result. You should accept it based on the conduct, not the result.
No, I think I disagreed vehemently with the barrister here.
Yes.
What you are saying is the outcome of the process is what is very, very more important than the process.
The process itself.
Yeah. If the process is faulty, then the outcome will be faulty. So far, so good. From what I've seen,
I didn't say the outcome of the process will determine whether it's faulty or not faulty. What I said is, until the result is out, one cannot say whether it has brought satisfaction to A or brought dissatisfaction to B. So until the result comes, one cannot comment on results.
Barrister, I was asking about the acceptance. Will you accept
Yeah,
the result?
Acceptance or non-acceptance is normal. If you are successful in the election, you are bound to accept. If you are not successful, you look at it, you consider very many things before you know what to do. So we are not expecting once the result is announced, everybody will accept. It's not so. So let them be announced it first.
Okay.
I think we need to, the next phase of our democracy is to move to a situation where we don't allow the judiciary to start determining our electoral outcome. If we are able to make good the electoral process, led to the productions of whoever wins, then we have little interference from the court, because the court is they're also manned by human beings. They are not manned by robots. But the only thing I would say, from what I haven't seen the full result. From what I've seen so far, from our situation room, the one we've monitored so far, I would say that APC were quite happy. We know that we've done very well in Edo North. All the results, majority of the results that I've seen so far, not all of them, suggest that we are winning in Edo North. Again, some of the results that I've seen in Edo Central suggest that we've also probably captured Edo Central. The battlefield or the battleground is Edo South. And from Edo South, I've seen some results where we've won some, PDP have won some. But since I came online, I've not been able to monitor the result because I'm using the same device that I'm
Doctor is
using.
happy. Now I can see that you see,
I think so far so good. We were expecting a lot of shock from Edo South because that's where the battleground is. Yes. From what I've seen in Ipobaoka, I think the margin between us and the APC, even where they've won, is not a lot. You will see in some units 67, 40 something, 30 something, 20 something, 20 something 9. I think if that plays out across the whole of Edo South, then we are on course to win, because we know definitely even before we went into this poll that Edo North is going to be for us. With the power of Oshomole and the deputy governor Shaibu, the way he was messed up, those people were not going to sit down and allow Obaseki to win Edo North. In a sense, I'm not saying they will manipulate it, but they've campaigned vigorously. Yeah, and Edo North, Edo South, Edo North and Edo Central, they have this culture of block voting. They follow their leaders. Yes. If their leaders say this is the person we are going, the majority of them, they go. They have this herd mentality. If you like.
No, but doctor, it's everywhere. Even in my village, you can't ring election in my village if the big boys didn't say. They're the one to say follow me, and we follow. And it's been the case. So sometimes I do say yes, we ring elections in Nigeria, but the truth is these are the results of your foot on the ground. You cannot win the election where you don't have foot on ground, like you rightly said. Those in the north, you know you're going to win because you have foot on ground. They're going to maneuver it for you, but because you have foot on ground. That's what we're saying. You cannot win result. You're going to the north now to win. If you don't have anybody there, you're not going to win. There's no amount of
especially if you are not popular in those particular areas. Yeah.
All right.
I think so far so good. I think we are on course to take over Saudi Arabia.
Well, that would be interesting.
I'm very positive.
From the feelers, I wanted to hear Barrister. Barrister would have done it. I mean, Barrister is still here. We wait for Barrister. Barrister will have a lot to tell you, Doctor. I'm sure he has.
No, from the feelers I'm getting.
Yes.
And those those forms were signed by most of the main parties, APC, PDP, and Labour. We were expecting Labour to do very well, but it will appear that Labour, the obedient movement, euphoria, has oversaturated, and they seem to have lost their muzzles in this particular election.
They have their internal party, internal issues, and it's a huge one.
Yeah, it was a calculated mistake. It was a wrong calculation they made, because all the parties agreed that Edo Central should produce the next governor. And so as a result, we have very prominent candidates in APC that had to step down. Model was not, by all means, was not the first, was not if we were to rank them.
Yes.
Assuming it was everybody goes to the field,
yes,
he would not have come out among the very top, because there were a lot of prominent candidates, a lot of candidates with good credentials that could have taken that ticket. But there was a gentleman agreement that, look, Edo South has produced governor twice, Edo North has produced governor, and they produced deputy governor. Edo South president is also produced governor and deputy governor, and so on. So the only region, or the only senatorial district that has not only produced governor was Edo Central, apart from Ambrose Ali, and also the gentleman that was there for Osumbo, that was there for about a year. So in order for equity and all that to prevail, there was this sort of unwritten understanding that power should move to Edo Central. But I think Labour, for some reasons, decided that they're not going to go with those sort of arrangements, and they went for Edo South. They not only went for Edo South, they also brought somebody personally okay, but he wasn't as popular with the electorate because he was not regarded as somebody that resides in Edo State. He came from Lagos as well. So, and also the euphoria of the Obi movement in 2020 and all that, 2019 and all that, it seems to have fizzled away. Like you rightly said, they have their internal problem with the chairman and all the rest of it, Aburi and all that. So, but anyway, where we stand now is that hopefully by 9 o'clock today or tomorrow morning, we should start to see a clear picture.
APC will be celebrating. Barrister, Dr. Morodia is already celebrating.
I think we've just nicked it by maybe a little margin. But I think it is.
We're not calling the result yet. It's not something we are
allowed to do. I can put up my predictive analysis.
You're allowed. No, Doctor, you're allowed. I am not. I know I'm going to ask Barrister. Barrister, are you on course to victory?
I am on course, but I am surprised that somebody is celebrating a result that is yet to be announced.
No, he's predicting.
I didn't say so.
Before either jubilation or sadness or whatever. So I don't think it's proper to comment on a result that is yet to be released.
No, I think you're wrong there, Barrister. In this country, in our country, UK, where I am, and the United States, they use exit poll
to call the result,
to tell you who is going to win. The last election that was held here, before the official result was announced, people already knew that Labour has won by a clear margin because they do exit poll. These are scientific polls. They look at the prediction, and the fact that some of the results have been is going around, except that people are saying those results that has been branded about on social media are fake. If that is the case, that's fine. I would apologize for. But based on what we are seeing from the returning officers, from different across the two parties, not just from our party, it would appear, if this result were to play out across the state, it will appear that we are on course to win the election.
Yeah,
I didn't say we won it. I said we are on course.
What doctor? But what we do know is that 70% of the result, according to our independent observer now, Michael is there as an independent observer. He has rightly told us that 70% of the result has been uploaded. I'm sure it should be getting to up to 80% as we speak. So if that is the case, then we can already predict. You know, those in the individual situation, the party situation room, they know where they are. You understand? They know where they are. They know where they are.
Let me tell you something. Few days few days before this election, rumor came that some results had been written even before election. And some of us dismissed the rumor.
Yes.
But if what my friend is saying is correct, that result is already known because it is so practiced in UK, it is so practiced in America, then a Nigerian will be surprised because it's not applicable to our Nigerian society at all. What he has just said is not applicable to the Nigerian society, even if it is applicable to UK and America.
Yes, with all due respect, Barrister, what I said, I don't miss my words. What I said is that based on the report we are getting from the field, these are signed, the signed returns. Yes. Both your party and our party and Labour Party signed, that is coming on the social media space, that people are returning to road from our situation room. It would appear, I choose my word very carefully, it would appear that we are on course to win Edo North. We are on course to win Edo Central, but the battleground is Edo South. And from the few results I've seen, in some of the wards, some of the units, PDP are ahead. In some other unit, APC, we are ahead. In some unit, we are almost at par. So based on that, one can say, okay, project that with all probability, all things being equal,
yes,
it's more likely.
I was expecting Barrister to tell me to give me the same result from his side. Barrister, I was expecting that you're going to tell me that based on your situation room, you are heading to victory. But anyway, that Barrister is more conservative here. Let's keep that. The result will be out by 9 p.m. And then we will know.
Well, it's all right. You have corrected yourself. We are waiting. Right, let us see what will happen at the end. And the end result will determine this next step to be taken by anybody.
Of course. So
I think it's premature.
Doctor, but there's something.
But this is the sad part of our democracy. This is the sad part of our democracy. It's only in Nigeria that nobody loses election.
Yes,
I know.
You know, and that's sad. You don't hear people in the United States after election, everybody, all the barristers are waiting. All the QC are waiting to make a lot of money.
Why not?
Because we have to go to court.
The executive have been going to make money for 4 years.
You know, we're going, but we should
for 1 month.
But we should perfect our system in such a way that we don't allow one judge to decide on technical ground, on whatever technicalities. People are looking for errors rather than going to the poll to vote. They are busy looking for errors. To nullify an election,
I agree with you.
To nullify a candidate. And that is not the essence of democracy.
It's disturbing. Of course. But hey, where we are, I was asking the other day, and I remember, Barrister, I asked you in one of our conversations on this show, that why is it that the INEC or the judiciary are not responsible for setting up the INEC? If that is the only part the judiciary can maintain, because we're coming back to them, why are they not the ones selecting judges, qualified judges, or men of integrity within the legal professionals to head the INEC? In all this, because by the time the president is the one appointing, and the government, they appoint the wrong people. You know, this young man said this morning that one of the major challenges we have, part of the election being rigged, is actually who is the regional electoral officer. They are also part of this whole game. So
now, I think from my point of view, we need to build institutions and strengthen those institutions. Okay. In UK, for example, the Electoral Commission is appointed by the government, but those people are independent. They exercise their function irrespective of what the government of the state says.
It's not the government that will determine their salary. It's because in Nigeria, the presidency can serve you.
No, I don't think I don't think salary is used as a means of influencing the election process.
Part of it, because
I think what is wrong is the fact that when people take on a position and they have been appointed, they should exercise the responsibility in that position to the later, and ensure that they do all that is necessary to safeguard the integrity of that particular office. It doesn't matter whether whether it's appointed by a judge or not. Even the judiciary themselves, they are not above board. If you look at our electoral process, you will see that, okay, in one court, a high court is saying, oh, sitting in Abuja, we find this particular problem with this process. Another person will go to a friendly judge in Rivers and get another judgment, or even get what's it called? What's this when you block somebody from, I've forgotten the legal terms that is used. You know,
are you talking about restraining order?
You can get restraining order, or they can even, there's another order they get. People are getting all this order from different parts of the country. You would have expected, if a case is between any court of law in Nigeria, court of jurisdiction, or whatever how you will call it, that you are bound to get the same judgment regardless of where you go to. You know, there shouldn't be things like friendly judge to a particular government, or friendly judge to particular people.
Even in the UK, when you are not happy with the judgment of a lower court, you go to the higher court.
Yeah, but it's not such that you go to the same high court. High court in Abuja will sit. High court in Abuja will sit, nullify what high court in Benin has done. Another court will see jurisdiction, another court. I mean, this, to me, to us lay people, I think both of you, you've got legal mind, but to us lay people, we find this very confusing.
It is. I agree, and Barrister will agree. And I've had that argument with Barrister.
No, this is very correct, and I know that the Chief Justice of Nigeria has frowned at it. A situation whereby a court with coordinate jurisdiction or having same powers will start to comment on something already decided by another court, the High Court, for example. If a High Court in Benin decides on a matter, another High Court in Kaduna decides on the same matter, but differently, the Chief Judge has already frowned at it. And I think they are doing all they can to reduce occurrence of that nature. So it is to our advantage to enjoy that kind of intervention. That is just one part. Now, looking at the legal system or the hierarchy of courts, Supreme Court is the highest court in Nigeria. If you go to want to assess it from magistrates court, after magistrates court, you go to High Court, whether state or federal. The High Court is High Court. When you leave High Court, you go to Court of Appeal. And when you leave Court of Appeal, where at least 3 judges sit over a matter, when you leave Court of Appeal, you go to Supreme Court, where you have at least 5 or 7 judges sit over the same matter. And so that is the highest court in Nigeria. So as much as possible, when a matter starts from a lower court and it treks from that lower court up to Supreme Court, you've got to reach the peak of our own judicial administration. That is, you have reached the highest level. You no longer go to what we used to call West African Court of Appeal, which is WACA. From WACA, you will go to London, House of Lords. So all these ones are no more there, particularly since we got independence. So the highest court in Nigeria for now is Supreme Court. And any matter that is dragged up to Supreme Court, whatever Supreme Court says is final, full stop. We cannot go beyond Supreme Court. That is the legal system in Nigeria.
We're having the similar issue here.
Now, talking about appointment of people to man INEC. Yes, some years back, people used to take judicial notice of this system. That's why previously they used to appoint retired High Court judges. And that was how somebody like late Justice O.V. Whiskey was appointed as INEC boss.
Thank you, sir.
He was a retired High Court judge. But they put him there as INEC boss. That's a man who said he would not accept bribe because in his lifetime he had not seen 1,000 naira or 1,000 pounds at that time.
Yes.
He said he was scared he wouldn't accept that kind of thing.
Exactly.
And he really didn't accept.
Yes.
He was scared because he had not seen such money before. He said it openly. So that one displayed neutrality in the performance of his duties. But what we see today is we have people who do not even have legal knowledge being put there as INEC boss. How can?
It's not.
That is a place where you consider law.
Yes.
Yeah, you consider law so much, and you want to put somebody there who doesn't know anything about law. It's a mistake. But unfortunately, those who do it look for people they can control. Just as we have it in the ordinary political system now. They want to sponsor people into some offices where they cannot even perform, but they want to control them to perform their services or functions in that office. That is what we see here. That's why Godfatherism is the focus, is the order of the day. Godfatherism is the order of the day. Some years back, in our own system here in those states where governorship election is taking place today, we had a governor who said there must not be Godfatherism anymore. There was an open fight because himself said he was going to champion a kind of thing against Godfatherism. So that era is over. We are still in it. Godfatherism is thriving so much on daily basis in our society. And that is what has reached INEC appointments. For somebody to be head of INEC, they don't care whether it's legally trained or not. They just put somebody there they can tell, do it like this, do it like that. And whatever it does is backed up. They may go to court. When you go to court, they still know what to do because even people at the judicial level, they didn't put themselves there. People put them there. Somebody was talking just and they said, those are the judiciary are human beings. Yes, they are human beings. What type of human beings are they? They are the people who are legally trained. Very good. But take note, how they got there is another issue. Because if you sponsor somebody to go there and tomorrow you want something from the person, you won't hesitate. You won't scratch your head. You will just go there to say, this is how I want it. And in law, let me tell you, in law, it's quite elementary. In law, though elementary, but very valid. In law, it is known, it's a known fact, that there is no single solution to any legal problem.
That's true.
That is why when you have two lawyers arguing one case, the one lawyer will argue his own persuasively to one side. Another lawyer will argue his own persuasively onto the other side. Yes. But they are talking about the same issue.
They always have some strange cases to defend themselves.
No one will be short of words. They will say each one will say his own persuasively. And before the layman, each of them will look very, very reasonable. At the end of the day, the man at the helm of affairs, who is the umpire, will look here, look there, consider right, consider left.
And consider money.
At the end of the day,
maybe consider money and then bam.
Well, I didn't say money. I didn't say money. He considers many things.
I added that, sir. I'm the one that added it.
No, but I think all your analysis, I agree with all your analysis so far.
This is where we are. The people you put in the offices matters a lot. So people
they matter a lot, but we need to build institutions.
Yes.
You see, the problem we have in Nigeria is that we build everything around one person that is appointed. Somebody is appointed to oversee the electoral system in UK. He doesn't make all the decisions. In fact, he's just a figurehead. The people that actually make the decisions are the people underneath him or her, who are the technocrats. That is why in UK, for example, somebody can move from Ministry of Agric one day as a minister, and they move the person straight to Ministry of Education, and the person starts functioning as if he has been in that particular ministry for a very long time. Because there are top civil servants, there are top public servants that will sit the person down and say, this is how things are done here. Even the least of the hierarchy of people can decide to become whistleblower when they find that things are not working the way it's supposed to work. People are held to account. So the appointment to particular positions, yes, they are political appointment. But what we need is to start building institutions and enduring institutions that can stand the test of time, regardless of who is appointed to head that institution. But the structure within that institution will withstand whatever influence that is coming in. We're not there yet, but I'm hoping.
I think you said it all, Doctor. Having the right civil service, civil servant, and I mean, let's talk about the ministries. These are things without proper ministries functioning. There's little the appointees can do. All right, there's little they can do. But okay, they control the money and they all do that. But you find that the civil servants have lost faith in the system. They are too poor. Let me use the word. Maybe they are the one that really starved, and they're not working. They're not working. I can imagine you going to any ministry today and say Ministry of Sport. The power lies in the minister. It's not supposed to be so. The civils, the PAMSEC and all. In fact, the PAMSEC are appointees, but the directors who knows how, they're the one that actually do the job. They're the one doing the job, but you don't see them that powerful doing what they're supposed to do, because wait till your God talk. Nigeria's wait till your God talk.
I think because Nigeria have a high power distance culture, in the sense that people at the very top, they make all the decisions. People lower down the hierarchy are not regarded as such. So if the person speaks, the person at the top speaks, you dare not challenge them, even when you know that they're wrong. I think those sort of cultural edifice needs to be looked at as well. But in the light of the elections, if we can bring the discussion back to the election that has just taken place in Edo State. Although I'm not on ground, I commend the barrister for being on ground. The nature of my engagement here prevented me from going. In all the election that has taken place in the last 20 years, I've always been on ground. Apart from this, I couldn't go for whatever reason. Although I'm not physically there, but I'm virtually there. So
I'm getting you can operate these days, Doctor. You guys know how to do now. You don't say with the call and wish. When you know they grind, you they perform. You say that person and wish. You don't say that they remote out. Doctor, that's how we used to interpret it. Then they use the witchcraft. They do have the doctor. They maneuver.
Yes.
Thank you very much. You see, let me talk about that building of structure is concerned. It is really very good to build a structure, but take note, in Nigeria, when you build a structure, the person who is at the head of affairs when you are building the structure will not want to live there. He will stay there throughout his lifetime, and if you say something, we remind you that he built the structure. Then whatever you say is neutralized. That is our system here. If we can build a structure whereby there's limitation to what somebody can do, or the tenure of a person who initiated it, then it will be good for Nigerians. Until that is done, people who started building structure will want to stay there for life.
Yes.
If that can be discouraged,
come again. Case, something that is disturbing me in Nigerian politics. Edo, because a lot of Edo people in diaspora, they've come out, they've been supporting this election one way or the other, financially and otherwise, but they're not allowed to vote.
They didn't come to register. The issue is this: most of the people,
yes, sir. We have an embassy.
Most of the people,
what is the Nigerian embassy doing? Just
there are people in diaspora who are trying to vote. I have friends among them. They are here. They are here very much.
There's a movement. There's a movement. There is a movement going on, which I will.
I have friends amongst them. They are around to vote, and they are voting.
I don't think that's what the decree was referring to.
Majority of them are not around. They don't vote.
No, that's not what that decree is referring to. I think what that decree is referring to is that in a mature democracy, like Indian, I think whether Rwanda, and even some countries in Africa, the diaspora community, as long as they are bona fide diaspora community, they are allowed to vote wherever they are. By virtue of the fact that I traveled out of Nigeria doesn't mean I'm not a Nigerian anymore. I still carry the green passport. No, why should anybody sitting in Nigeria determine whether I can vote or not vote? You know, because the system has not been.
Nobody is preventing somebody in this diaspora from voting.
Well, they are.
I am telling you now,
because
I have people in diaspora who are in Nigeria now. Some of them are my friends.
That's not the point we are making.
It cost me to come home to come and vote.
Yeah, I can vote in the embassy.
They are here to vote.
I can vote in the embassy here. Yes. I can do whatever it is. As long as I can prove that I'm a Nigerian, I should be able to vote wherever I am throughout the world. I know we're not there yet.
Let me tell you this thing. It is not a question of whether you are a Nigerian or not a Nigerian that determines you voting. It's registration that determines voting.
I can register anywhere I am. I can register
if you are not a registered voter. If you are not a registered voter, whether you are in Nigeria or outside Nigeria, you cannot vote.
Barrister, yes.
No. That's the point. That's what needs to be corrected.
Exactly.
There is a bill that is going through the National Assembly. It's called the Diaspora voting. That is going. I know the people who are behind it, and I'm part of those people who have been pushing ahead. The first time the bill was presented to House of Assembly, to the Federal House of Assembly, it went through the second reading and unfortunately died. But now other people they have repackaged that bill. Mr. President has promised to give the diaspora the opportunity to vote. Because I am based in the UK, by virtue of the fact that I am dislocated from my country doesn't mean that I am not participating in what is happening. Even though I'm here, I'm having the discussion now. It shows that I have interest in the development of my country, in the development of my state. So I can still be able to exercise my franchise regardless of where I am. I know we're not quite there yet.
And that's something need immediate thing. And like I said, why would I even travel to Edo State if I am working in Lagos to vote? I should be able to go in, like, we have a bank card. Your bank card, you can use it anywhere. Why can't we use that bank card, go to any unit and vote? And these are things that the electoral process, we need to get there. We don't need to be physically in one place in this barbaric manner. Say we are voting. It's barbaric for me. We don't need to go there.
Well, it's a small country like Rwanda and other smaller countries. They're practicing this. It's not rocket science.
The determining factor is registration. If you register in a particular place for election in Nigeria, that is anywhere in Nigeria, you are eligible to vote. So the qualification is to be registered
there. You cannot vote anywhere else. You know, that's what we're saying. If
no,
I have to vote even in the presidential,
what I'm saying is this: when you we have 36 states in Nigeria, excluding the FCT.
Yes.
If you register in any of the states, you are eligible to vote for presidency. You are eligible to vote for those going to National Assembly. Yes. You are eligible to vote for those going to State Assembly. You are eligible to vote for this governorship election we are talking about now. It doesn't require multiple registration. It's just one registration to be a registered voter in Nigeria.
I agree with you.
The point you are making is that you should be able to vote anywhere.
Yes,
it is not within my own power to say you can vote anywhere. That one has to be legislated.
We're not saying it shouldn't be within your power. For example, in US, the election is coming up in November.
Yes.
People have started voting through postal voting.
Yes.
As long as I have my card and my card is legit, I can post my vote. You know, they send your ballot paper to you well in advance. You send it off.
I agree with you, but your card, your card you are talking about now signifies you being a registered voter.
Yes.
Which you can use.
I can also register to vote anywhere I am.
I can go to the embassy to collect my passport, to renew my passport. Why can't I pick up my voter's card here?
And apart from that, my BVN, my passport, I don't go to my state to register to get my passport.
We are talking about, I am telling you that to be eligible to vote in Nigeria, you must register for that purpose. It doesn't matter the kind of election now. You can say presidency, be it legislative, be it governorship, one registration can cover you in Nigeria. That's what it is for now. And if there's going to be a change, there will be need to amend the electoral system, the electoral law. And this can be done only by the National Assembly in Nigeria.
I think there are you and I we agree that there are a lot of flaws in our electoral system. For example, if I have lived in Lagos all my life and I want to contest election, why do I have to go to Edo State to contest election? Why do I have to go to my local government of origin to vote? Why do I have to go to my ward of origin to vote? I live in Lagos. I was born in Lagos. My family have been in Lagos. Why am I not a bona fide?
If you live in Lagos, for example, if you live in Lagos and you are from Edo State, you registered in Lagos, you are entitled to vote in Lagos where you registered for president. If there's a governorship election in one state, maybe Imo State or Ondo State, you will go there to vote for that election. Vote for the governor of that state. Because that voting is limited to that state alone.
Okay,
that's why
I understand you, barrister. Let's take for instance, let's say I'm making a hypothetical.
Yes,
I understand you completely. Let's make a hypothetical case.
Not to the region. It's limited to the people of the state. As long as I am from the state, wherever I am, to be immaterial. You know, restricting election to my state, meaning it's my state. It's still my state, whether I live in Lagos or anywhere else, barrister. Anyway, I'm sure we're going to find a way to correct that. And I think we're on the same page here. Barrister is saying that we need the law. We need to do that through the legislature. And that's what Doctor just said, that there's a bill is currently on. And I think we are all on the same page. We agree. We seem to agree there. Where we've not agreed, barrister, is whether the result, whatever happens today, that whether the PDP will accept the result. That is still where we are. Accepts are not be happy with it. Will they accept?
Okay. We don't. As I'm here now,
yes, sir.
It is difficult for me to say this is the party that will win the election of today.
Fair enough. Yes.
Until the result is finally announced by the authentic umpire.
Yes.
It is difficult for anybody to say, "Oh, the result I was written a few days ago is the result that will come." Yes. So let us wait until the result is announced by the correct.
I don't think anybody is saying that. But what I would say,
Doctor. What if the INEC announce results, say by 10 or tomorrow morning, will APC accept the result?
If the result is announced, whoever wins, the APC will accept the result. We will also avail ourselves the opportunity to be able to look at the whole process, whether the process was fair. If we feel the process is fair, of course, this is election is about 2 or 3 people contesting for one position. And only one person is bound to win that position. And if it become very clear that PDP won the election in a free and fair
polling, let's use word free and fair. The only thing is that if PDP was able to buy more votes than the
regardless of whether they buy or not, I'm sure all parties. I'm sure all parties are buying votes. All parties are
part of the system. So.
No, I'm not saying it's acceptable. It's not acceptable, but it's the norm. But regardless of whether they bought vote or don't buy vote, if at the end of today's exercise it happens that PDP won the election, of course we will congratulate them and say, well, based on the results that we've seen, you've won. But if we feel there were anomalies between what our coalition officers submit to us and what is eventually presented, then we'll go through the electoral process. We'll go through the legal process to right the wrong. Yes, we've seen cases in the past where, for example, there was a case between Osumbo and Adams Oshomole, where Osumbo was declared the winner of the election, and it took a year to overturn that particular election based on the fact that it was Adam Oshomole that rightly won the election. So we know all those sort of, but to go into an election and not willing to accept the outcome of the election, to me, it's not the way we should practice our democracy.
Doctor, that would be your position. So we're going to ask Barrister, if by today,
yes,
everything appears to be clear that based on the results INEC announced, if INEC announced that the APC has won, will PDP accept?
My friend has already answered that. Okay. The answer he gave just now has answered this your question.
Oh, no,
he has said APC by the time the result is announced by the authentic umpire.
Yes.
By the time the result is announced by the authentic umpire,
yes,
they will look at it properly and to see whether anything has gone wrong or not. That is exactly what the situation is. And that's why I said earlier, it is not right to predict what the result that is yet to be announced will be.
Okay.
But by the time the result comes and one finds out that something went wrong somewhere, one can seek redress appropriately.
Definitely,
in the appropriate quarter.
Agree.
Yes. So it's premature. It's too early to go into what will happen when the result is finally announced. Yes. Definitely, some people will be satisfied. Some people may not be satisfied.
No, Doctor,
and whoever fails to get
I teach statistics and predictive analysis, and on the basis of statistical permutation, you can look at a trend, and you can then forecast and say, based on this trend, if this trend were to happen, all things being equal, this is the likely outcome. You are predicting, and it may happen that your prediction is wrong. Yes. If your prediction is wrong,
that's why you're talking as an accountant. And I have an accountant and I have a lawyer. An accountant will use figures to predict, but lawyer will say until they say this, it is not this. That is why I have this argument. Well, I think we're on the same page on that.
I think we both let's agree to disagree that we wait for the official umpire to release the result. Yes. Whoever wins,
beautiful. That's the simple truth.
Yes. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you
for joining us.
Yes, thank you. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. In law, suspicion doesn't carry much weight. No. We don't depend on suspicion, and that is why even when the contestants of any political office want to go to court, they carry their materials, their facts to go to court. And they present these facts before court. Anything not proper before court, it's not anything not presented before court cannot be used to arrive at a decision. After all, the judges were not there when these things happened. The judges decide issues on the basis of available evidence. Yeah, it is not question of presumption. It's not presumption. It's not guesswork. The things have to be put down clearly. Yes. On the table before court. Before court can say, let's consider this, consider that. At the end of the day, a just decision is arrived at. Yes. And the judge will have satisfaction for bringing out the facts, for coming to a conclusion that is acceptable to all. So we don't depend on presumption.
Yes. Let
us wait for the reality,
for Nigeria
for the facts,
that we should get
before we can take a decision
of maturity.
Yes,
we should get to a situation of maturity where an election is done and the results are announced, and the loser congratulates the winner. And all this idea of lining the pocket with some people, and I know the lawyers are there to. There's a profession as well, this electoral process. This time now is a first time grant for a lot of people. People are already thinking of the millions and they are going to make from either candidate. But let's hope that we get our system right, such that we don't have to resort to legal interpretation of who wins and who doesn't win.
Yes, Doctor, and as long as little things like
this, all right,
makes our system uncomfortable. Let me use the word uncomfortable. Things like this vote rigging, this.
You see, we have seen cases where announcements were made in the past, where those people who lost congratulated their opponents, and some powers that are higher than those ones started to blame them for doing so.
Yes.
The first clear case was the case of Tofa and Abiola, MKO Abiola and Tofa. Tofa was a contested election with Abiola. By the time the result was announced, Abiola was declared winner, and Tofa congratulated Abiola. But some high powers they blamed Tofa for accepting that result. This was an open secret. That era passed. Our former president, who is still alive, Goodluck Jonathan, I decided to accept the result the umpire announced. And initially, some people started to blame him for accepting. The same thing. They blamed him for accepting. But himself said he would not be happy if a single blood was lost. People didn't understand. But sooner or later, people got to understand why Jonathan did what he did. That was very good, and it was the interest of Nigeria.
He lost the election, and he accepted. That's what I did.
Yes, he lost the election, but he was a sitting president. He accepted. He accepted, and he gave reason why he accepted.
There were grounds for Jonathan to appeal that election. The beavers as we know it now, was not as robust then.
Let me tell you, he accepted not because he was weak. He took into consideration the interest of Nigerians he was meant to protect. And we all praised him.
An honorable man, and the word
that one made him a statesman that is accepted not only in Nigeria but the whole world. So people like that are quite rare, and we are happy that Jonathan is called a Nigerian. If we have people like that in Nigeria that are yet to be known, fine for us. We just pray they should be there, and they should come out.
I think the
privilege to do what Jonathan has done in the past, what Tofa in the past. Right. So that's about that. So let's wait for the result of the election for today, which is still going on. The result is yet to be announced. Until the result is announced, it will be wrong for anybody to say this is what I will do after the announcement, or this is what I will do unless it's like this.
Yes, I agree. Sir, at this point now, all I can do is congratulate two of you. You know, I'm proud to be an Edo man. I was very proud to be an Edo man. That this has happened, and Edo has set a pace again. You understand? It is very important. You know, that case of Oshomole was a very serious one, and people came out to defend their vote, and it was really interesting. And so today, if this result, if what is coming out now, if this pocket of trouble here and there is all we can, is all that happened, and if all we are still, though we are accepting the norms of vote buying, it's the truth is every party we're part of it. It's not that maybe you're able to buy more than the other. So be it. Well, at the end of the day, people going to vote, I think today now they have accepted. I want to take it today for the purpose of this result, that people that went out to vote, they wanted some little bit of Pepsi money. All right. And so any money that gave to them was for Pepsi, but they voted their mind. And they will use that to accept the result and think it's a good one. And congratulate those people for this landmark. I will be back this evening at about 10 p.m. to actually look at the results. Then we'll be looking at the results. I have a few ones here that I wanted to share. But and maybe that's where Doctor drew his conclusion, you know. And I really would like to just present this to the audience before we leave. There were some. These are some of the things you see that maybe are flying on the social media right now. This look quite genuine. It doesn't look so altered. There's signature everywhere, and this is a good result. I'm sure this is the type of things. I don't know where this 131. Okay, PDP 67. APC 55. You know, this is one of them. Doctor is quite happy with this result. And when you go to the next one, let me see. The next one you see here, whoa, APC 147, 58, 207, you know? And this is what Doctor must have seen. And it looks good.
Yeah, I've got a lot of them. From our situation room that is coming to me. Like I said, since we've been on this, I've been on her in the last an hour or so. I've not been able to follow through. The result is mixed in the sense that there are some areas where we seems to be ahead. There are some areas where PDP seems to be ahead. But I do know from what I've seen so far, those not, I think we're going to win there. If the result continues the way, based on the few ones that have come out, those Central, I think we're going to win there based on using the permutations of what I've seen so far. Those South, is hanging on the balance because there are some places we've won, some places PDP have won, which is acceptable. That's how the election should be anyway. Yes. So on the basis of that, I still want to affirm that I think we may have been lucky this time around. Maybe our candidate has been a preferred candidate. But again, whatever happened, we will work with whoever is there. We want the best for our state. We want the best for our people. We want the best program, the best policy. And if the people decide otherwise, who am I to challenge their collective decision? I will have to go with them. I may not agree with them with what they've decided, or I may totally agree with what they've decided. This is the essence of democracy. This is the beauty of democracy. It can throw off all sort of challenges. Look at what is happening in America at the moment. When Joe Biden and Trump was there, it was highly predicted that Trump has got the U.S. presidency in the bag. Especially after that first debate, where Joe Biden didn't do very well because he couldn't. He was not as sharp as he used to be because of age and all that. He was slow in response, and people saw it as, oh, this man is old. He's gone past his sell-by date, and as such, Trump was triumphing. But as soon as he stepped down and Kamala Harris came in, the whole trajectory changed. The first debate, the debate between Trump and Harris, shows that the lady was sharp. She knew what she was talking about. She knew her onions. Now people are talking about the election is evil. But even from the news I saw this morning, it would appear in most of the key states that Kamala Harris is ahead of Trump. So people are predicting that she might just win the election. That is on the same premise I was using for Edo State. But whoever wins, we are still
Edo has won. Whatever wins, Edo has won. I'm sure that's what I want Barrister to tell me.
The fact that and we also need to commend the president. We also need to commend the president, because when he deployed those 35,000 police to Edo State, some people thought, oh, he's doing it because he wants to muscle the opponent. But we've seen now that that has brought calmness.
Can we not go there? There are two ways to force a woman to open her legs. Either you give her a lot of money, or you put gun in her neck. Maybe your president
or you persuade her.
Okay, maybe persuading don't work these days because people are hungry.
It does.
You don't tell a woman to open leg because you can persuade her. You got to offer her something. Either you force her with a gun, or you give her a lot of money. Maybe
you persuade her. In fact, persuasion works better than guns and money.
I can see. All right, maybe the presidents have done well in persuading, but we didn't see that in the campaign though, because persuasion would have happened. Maybe you did that behind closed door. Who knows? We give you credit for that. So when you just say that we commend president, that's the only why I'm making that comment. I'm sorry.
I understand.
Whether everybody will agree, but Barrister, do you agree? Because this is the last part of the debate. Do you agree that the president deserves commendation?
The presence of law enforcement agents will bring sanity into the system to a large extent. So it's a worthy of commendation that the government could make available such number of people to ensure that there's protection of properties, there is prevention of crimes, and above all, to maintain law and order. Yes. So it's a commendable something, and it's the government that is in charge of this aspect of the force that should really be commended. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, anyway, I agree with
their
you.
Presence
my only argument, Barrister, my only saying is that there are two ways to actually win this battle. You don't have to physically go there and say, oh, go there, make it look clean, but behind you can use money to change the result. We know they have done that in the past. They can do a lot of things. The result is not going to happen with the police. Police are not going to change the result. People that are going to change the result is the money that has been thrown around. And we know money has been thrown around. But doctor, you're here telling us that would you commend president? No, it should have come out to say money should not be spent on this election. It should be free and fair. We never heard that from him.
I think you see the mistake we make sometimes. We blame the leaders rather than blaming the people.
No, the people,
you know, it takes two to tango. It takes two to tango. The barrister is an exemplary Nigerian. He said he went to the polling unit, yes, and people were offering him 10,000 naira. Yes. And he said to himself, 5,000, 3,000. And he said to himself, what do I need 3,000, 5,000? Because he's a matured mind. Yes. So we need that sort of behavior to be replicated across the nooks and crannies of every strata of our society.
We pray to have that.
Yeah, because the person that is giving you bribe and the person that is obtaining bribe, you've both committed crime.
But listen, I think we all get, let's not go there because in terms, I think everybody have a price. But barrister, you can't buy barrister with 10,000. But and barrister belongs to a party for a reason. Maybe it's the ideas. So let's not go into, let's not use barrister as a case study because we know how many barristers do we have in the
No, I just cited that because of he mentioned it earlier on.
On the statistics, barrister will be 2% of the entire population. So the people like barrister will be 2%. So hey, so I'm saying that if the president wanted to help us, if he wanted to clean the system, all he would have done is there will be no money voting. You know, if I get to using money,
but I'm sure successive government have been doing that. This is a cultural thing. We need to look inward. We need to look inward as a people.
Excuse me. The problem we have there,
yes,
is enforcement.
Yes,
it is not that there's no law trying to prevent it.
Yes,
yeah,
that is offering bribe at the polling booths or voting centers. The law is there, but the enforcement is like today now. The various political parties were there, planted people to offer money to people who were coming to vote.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying.
The law enforcement agents were there.
Yes,
they started blood.
And but nobody will say, "Oh, I'm going to enforce this law as it is." It is not that the law enforcement
policemen. It's not a solution. That's exactly what I'm saying. So I'm
not 35.
But it is a solution. It
so they were there. They were there. So the enforcement is faulty. The enforcement of that law is faulty. And if the people whose duty it is to enforce the law can come out boldly to say we enforce this law, then the society will be good for it. But who will enforce the law now?
I agree with you. I think the enforcement comes with the cultural norms. We need to rearrange our cultural values. We need to reevaluate our cultural values. People need to know the essence of these polls, the essence of election. Yes. Once people understand the magnitude of what they have been asked to do and how that affects them personally, the generation to come after them, their children, and every other thing in society, their well-being.
It is the enforcement. It is the enforcement that is faulty.
And another thing
not any other thing.
We don't need to shy away from is that those, and I said it on this show, we know these are the two big boys, the three big boys doing this thing. They are the ones sharing the money. Let's not sugarcoat this.
But sometimes they don't even share the money. Sometimes it's their followers that will share the money because they want to prove that
if you share money in my name, you're sharing it. Jesus Christ, you do things in my name. Anything done in your name, and if you're the one to get the beneficiary, you are guilty.
Then you shouldn't. I'm not exonerating anybody. I'm not exonerating those candidates. But what I'm saying is this: you see, if a system, if a culture permits people to behave a certain way and see it as the norm, that has been also a certain behavior has been normalized as a Nigerian way, and people are not challenging it, people are not confronting it. You know, people are, if you go there, if you and I go to the polling unit and start to make noise and say, oh, why are you sharing money? people will look at us as, what's wrong with this guy?
Yeah,
You know, we might even be in trouble.
Yes.
We may even be in trouble. They may even attack us, and so on and so forth.
Exactly.
But we need to get a situation where we have a complete mindset change, a complete mindset reprogramming, where people start to see election as a means to develop society.
Maybe you'll be commending the president for using the rotation agency for doing this job, doctor. This is what I'm saying. You will be commending any president that has done well in terms of actually trying to educate the people. Tell the rotation agency, this is your job. And they see it happening. President is aware. You know, if this is a priority, then that's where we begin to commend the president. Not sending 50,000 or 200,000.
But that has averted deaths. In previous election, we hear cases of people. I'm sure maybe later on we must still hear of some skirmishes, a few incidents here and there. But at least it has deterred people, knowing fully well that the police have come prepared, and maybe people who would have wanted to go to the polling unit to cause trouble have decided to maintain their own dignity.
Decided to share money instead
of whether they share money or not.
Instead of they decided to share money. There's another strategy.
Well, sharing money has been part of the electoral norm.
Damage to the system.
No, sharing money has been part of the electoral norm in Nigeria. It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. It's a bad practice. It is condemnable. But
there are two ways of doing this. You say, if you don't cook the yam, you're going to roast it. So, doctor, until the cooking or the roasting of yam is off the table, the president have no commendation from people like us. If he knows what to do, he can choose to orient. Like if he's saying orientation is necessary, the president has a role to play.
I'm sure you have issues with the president in other areas.
I don't. He's my president. I don't.
Yeah, but we don't all have to agree with him in all his policies. No. But as far as this policy is concerned, he has exercised his first role as the custodians of law and order and of safeguarding people and properties. And that's what he's done in Edo State.
Agree. He has done that. What we're saying is that any president that want to ensure the progress of this country, there's something you do for doctor. We don't look for the toffee ideology. You know what to do. Like you need to really go and educate these people, and you have these different agencies. You can pump the money in there and make sure people are.
But there are agencies. It's just that whether those agencies are functioning to the design specification is another problem.
You're talking about orientation.
Yeah, we have the National Orientation Agency. That's their job. That's their job. Even the electoral agency that we're talking about, the INEC.
Oh wait, doctor, the president know that it's the job of the police to secure this thing. Why did he decide to reinforce? He knows that.
But they have to reinforce because they know there are some elements within society that want to create a mayhem. Besides, the number one chief security officer of Edo State, he went on national television. He was, he was here on social media space across, threatening that Edo will burn, Nigeria will burn if he's not allowed his way. So
it's not
even the peace accord,
the election is free and fair. They've not come out to protest. And PDP have not come out to do otherwise. They're only saying that if you come and if you ring this election in my face, this is what I think everybody's.
But so far so good. The first aspect of the conduct of the election has gone smoothly.
That's why I wanted
we wait for the second. We wait for the second aspect of the process, which is the counting of the vote and collation of the vote. Once that collation of the vote is done, and people feel that if they feel any party feel that they've been disenfranchised in the process, they have the legal means take legal recourse. The problem with Nigerian politicians is that they are disingenuous to themselves. You have a polling agent across all the, I think in the case of I think it's about 192 wards. You have representations across all the 192 wards, and those your representatives would have signed the form, and that form is supposed to be transmitted to you. By the end of today, you would have known whether you won the election or not.
They know now already. They know already.
So, but if peradventure what is declared is significantly different from what your polling agent submits to you, then you have a case to answer. But if on the basis of what is declared and what your polling agent have submitted, you find that you've lost, there's no point creating any mayhem. You just do a gentleman thing and congratulate your opponent.
That's agree. And that's how it's supposed to be. And that is where I will not be able to fight or take the threat of the PDP I won't be taking it now. If at the end of the day the result is announced and it is clear that they've lost and they are, in fact, they're just acting otherwise and trying to ferment trouble.
Well, to me, I think Okpebholo have done well. I also commend Asra Ighodaro for dignifying himself during the process, for participating in the whole process. Otherwise, it would not have been very interesting. They've all put their case before the electorate, and the whole thing is now the electorate have also taken on board all that they've said, whether through cash inducement or through other persuasions. They've gone to the poll, they've cast their vote. So let's hope that their vote counts, and so that our democracy can grow from strength to strength. We can internalize our democracy, and people can start to see the beauty of giving people the opportunity to decide who becomes their leader, to decide who becomes their governor. And hopefully we will cascade this sort of practice through to the local government elections. It makes it a lot more interesting because people of intellect, people with superior ideas can then see that, oh, if this process is fair, is transparent, I want to put my heart in the ring. I want to participate in the process. Otherwise, there are a lot of people who probably have very good ideas, but because they feel the electoral process is deemed as dirty, not clean, not transparent, they might not be persuaded to join the race, you know.
Exactly my point, Doctor. And that's exactly what I'm trying to say. Until we have a president or the people in government willing to actually invest in this aspect of it, making sure it is free and fair, because that way alone help in nice mind, the powerful mind joining the process, and the result will be always.
I will work with you to. There's a body, a foundation in America. It's called Nigeria. I think it's called National Endowment Foundation. What they do, they will sponsor programs like your program, where we can then devote a whole episode towards electoral education. And this education, you're looking at asking people why they need to register in the first place to have their own ballot paper, why they need to listen to the candidate and to their manifesto, and also why they need to go to the poll and cast their vote, regardless of whether or not somebody is promising them money, or even when people are threatening them, why they need to ensure that they have. And once they've casted their vote, why they also need to know that their vote counts, you know, and their votes are respected. So there are programs. So your program, television like yourself, like SRTV, can actually contribute in this process so that we start to educate our people, not just speaking big English. We go straight to the grassroots, speak in their native dialect, speak in pidgin English. Let the people know that, look, what you are trying to do is significant, it's symbolic. It's not just something you do pastime or something you take for granted. A lot of people in UK, in America, people died
for this to happen.
Just for them to be able to vote. You know, people fought and fought and fought and fought to vote, particularly women. Until recently, in the last century, beginning of the last century, in most of these so-called advanced countries, women were not allowed to vote.
True.
You know, so you have to look at all those sort of areas. There are also some countries now where even the elections are not taking place. They are ruled by despots. They are ruled by tyrants. They are ruled by military rules, by fiat and all that. Nobody elected them, you know. But the fact that our democracy has grown since since these current dispensations of democratic practice is something we have to commend ourselves. We've moved from the way it was in the late 90s, where people would just sit at home, write all the results, submit it, and nobody knows what is happening. Now there's a little bit of transparency in the process. The people know what is happening. the people have the evidence to challenge any anomaly in the process. My barrister is waiting now because I know he's waiting now to see.
Barrister is with us. Barrister is happy today. Barrister, I can see you are happy. You are happy that election has gone well. No bloodshed that much. Maybe one or
We're
two.
not hearing that there's government buildings has been burned.
Go on, Barrister.
I'm happy election is peaceful.
Good.
I'm happy election is peaceful.
And yes, I congratulate you.
There's minimum complaints.
Yes.
From different quarters, minimum,
so
which is normal.
Yes.
Yes.
So at this point, we'll wait for the result. I want to have people by 10 p.m. Barrister, at 10 p.m. when the result is so obvious, I'll come back and hopefully we can then talk about the result itself. And
yes. Until the result is fully ready.
What about Michael?
Michael will join us then. Michael is on the feed now. He's gone to.
I will join you.
Okay.
I will join you at 10 p.m.
Michael will also with us then. Yes. Hopefully we'll have time to join us, and whoever wins will buy us a drink. That's all we need.
We celebrate. It's so great.
Very good. That is very good.
Thank you very much.
We'll be expecting.
All right, sir. So that's where we call the show. Thank you very much, Barrister, and thank you, Doctor, for this wonderful time. And
whoever wins, we appreciate us.
Yes, we will.
Whoever wins will appreciate us.
We appreciate us. That's what we're going to do.
I think it's good like that.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So we will wait with hope.
And we show them how it's supposed to be done. Between Doctor and Barrister, whoever wins today, we see them shaking hands and one. Come say, listen,
we're already shaking hands.
No. Let's wait till then because now I'm not sure.
That I should be.
It's only when the result is out. That's when I will take your shaking hands as real. So I'll wait till then and see whether at that time whether the shaking hands will be clear. My people say the eye when they say eat them and not eat the shell fish. So let's share the fish and see whether it will still be smiling. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys at
thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
It's all right. It's all right. Thank you very much. See you later.
All right then.
That's where we call
Bye for now.
I know you guys have a good time. These are the legal minds we have and the sound mind from Edo State. And I said yes, Nigerians, we don't have shortage of sound minds. And I'm sure when these people come together, they can give us the best. We need to wipe out the evils in our society, and that is this little corruption. And we can get rid of it. And I believe in you, Nigerians. Edo have started it. Though we know that they use money, But again, I don't think you can actually change the result where you don't have people. So the people that spend more is the one getting upper hand. Well, Obaseki, you would have spent money too. I'm sure if PDP have more money than APC, they would have done it. And if APC now spend more than PDP, I might want to judge the case. I'm quiet. I don't just clean my beers and say, let's wait for the result. When the result comes, we'll be here again and we'll be telling you what happened, what has not happened, and what to expect. My name is Daddy Chris, and this is the Situation Room from SRTV. Stay out of trouble. Congratulations to Edo people for making us proud again. Bye for now.
Find your sanctuary in the heart of the city. Live the life you deserve in an exquisite apartment. SRTV Luxury Shortlet Apartment, Lagos, is a place where your comfort is rest assured. Welcome to SRTV Shortlet Apartment, part of the prestigious SRTV Real Estate family. Why choose us? Prime location, nestled in the heart of Lagos, close to key attractions, business hubs, and vibrant nightlife. Modern interiors, fully furnished, stylish apartments designed to provide the ultimate comfort. Luxury redefined, vacation perfected. 24/7 security. Enjoy peace of mind with round-the-clock security and CCTV surveillance. Top-notch amenities, high-speed Wi-Fi, smart TV, air conditioning, fully equipped kitchen, and lots more. Perfect for business travelers, family vacations, romantic getaways, special events, and more. Book your stay today and experience Lagos like never before. Call +234 8143 582856 or +447 4388 190 or email us at realestate@superiorradiotelevision.com. SRTV Chocolate Apartment, where comfort meets luxury.
SRTV.